Hey, hello, everyone. Welcome. We are here today. My name is Monique. I am one third of a human design experience that is happening, the Miami edition that is happening in April 9th through 12th, 2026. We are taking some time and interviewing some of our speakers that are going to be here at the event with us. Today we have Allison on. Alison Dale, a friend of mine, and I'm going to let her introduce herself. Welcome to our little YouTube part of the internet where we are hosting these little pre-conference interviews with the speakers that will be joining us in April. I'm so excited that you are one of those speakers.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much for having me today and for inviting me into the conference. I'm really excited to see everybody there in Miami. My name's Alison Dale. I am a human design guide and astrologer from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I have a podcast called Living the Spiral that I've been doing for a couple years where I look at the wheel of the year through the human design rave mandala, the transits, but I weave that into how it intersects with the zodiac and the medicine wheel and the Taoist whooshing cycle. So I like to look at kind of cross cultural, polycultural systems of the year. So I'm really interested in transits and just how the gates are showing up in our all of our lives on a collective basis for the most part. But that's a little
That's
bit
so
about me.
cool.
Yeah.
I love how many systems you named. You're like, yeah, I'm looking at it through all of these lenses. It's like, wow, my fixed ass 1-4 is like, I look at it through this one lens. Like that's how my fixed, like brain defined Ajna 1-4 profile. I often feel like I get very lost in like a focused kind of way of looking at stuff. So I'm always so excited when I get exposed to people like yourself that are like, I look through things through like 8 lenses. I'm like, oh my God, that's so cool. I forgot you could do that. Um,
The
um,
kaleidoscope. Yeah. No, it's funny because I think when I met you at Human Design High Desert Human Design in Santa Fe a few years ago, I was fairly new. I've been in the experiment with human design since 2019, but I was newer to it. I was more focused on astrology at the time when I met you, and I remember walking into a lot of those spaces and hearing a lot of just a lot of the language of human design that was so many numbers, so many of the channels, right? And I remember feeling really overwhelmed at first because I was like, I can't imagine ever knowing that deep, like what all my channels are and what all the different channels are, because it just felt like a foreign language at that time. I was learning it slowly, like through these other contexts, and now that's shifted. I feel like I can now speak the channels and speak the gates a bit more, and excited to meet people there. But at the same time, yeah, when people can go that deep into one, I was like, oh, I'm trying to like play this out to all of these other esoteric systems and ancient systems, and it's just fun that over time it can all deepen and kind of gel in a certain way. And I definitely don't want to be like a laundry list person where I'm like, oh yeah, I just it's this and this, because it's definitely is coherent. Like for me it's
for sure.
basically based on the seasons. I'm a nature girl, and so I think about how the wheel of the year from all of these different perspectives is really just about our relationship with the earth and our relationship with the seasons. And there's lots of languages to describe that, whether it's like, oh, there's an eclipse in gate 64 or in Virgo or in the like season of fall, and like what does that mean, right? And so yeah, it's how it like where the intersection happens rather than trying to like do too much, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm so glad you said a lot of things. I'm really glad you brought up, when we first met and how you remember the feeling. Like we met in 2023 at the
Hmm.
High Desert Human Design Conference. And I've been in I learned about human design around the same time as you. Well, maybe even after 2020. I was like 2020, close to 21, but closer to the end of 2020, I remember ish. But um what you said about how you remember being in these spaces and like hearing like the number talk, and I have a friend that like says sometimes she's like, we sound like robots sometimes when we're like, yeah, the 1156 and the da, 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 like it's like you're not speaking English. That's not really that helpful for people that don't know the language, right? Like that doesn't feel, it does feel overwhelming. It feels like a little, I remember too, on the onset being like, this sounds like another like language. Like, what are these people talking about? When I first started learning some of these words, and human design words are so weird.
Yeah.
Like I say that all the time on my podcast. I'm like, what is with these words? Like, is this really like the best we could do here, Rob? But anyway, I love that you brought that up because we wanted like for this conference, I it was important for us for both sides of that coin to feel welcome to come. Like if you know a lot about human design, there are going to be people here that are speaking very deeply on some of these topics. And I know you yourself are getting pretty deep on your topic, which we will get into. But there are going to be people here that are teaching stuff that you and I were just talking about we've never learned about yet within this
Hmm.
like context of the system, right? And we've been now studiers of this system for quite some time. There are, so you can come to this event knowing a lot and still learn a lot and still obviously gain community, which is like also the other just piece that matters so much to all of us, I think, building this. But you can also come to this event and know nothing about design and just be starting to dip your toes. And we want you to feel welcomed in that too. We don't want you to feel overwhelmed with like robot number talk or like this idea of like because that doesn't feel good, right?
Yeah.
That's not. And this is really this idea of like all inclusivity and like just come as you are where you're at and you will be met there. Like that's just such an important through thread in the creation of this event and how we picked the people that are speaking at this event. So it was really wonderful to hear you kind of speak to that a little bit just now. And then you said something else just at the end of your thing. I just lost it though. What did you leave on? Come on, left arrows. Do you remember?
Mm. Mm.
No.
Mm. Got a
You
couple left
said,
arrows, couple right though. I'm more in the
oh
right
yeah, you're
zone
two and
right
two. That's right. Hold on. It'll come back.
now.
You were saying that, and then you said, all right. Well, if it comes back, it comes back.
It'll come 13 minutes
Um,
later. It always does, right?
13 minutes later,
Yeah.
I like, oh, maybe it was a nature thing. Maybe it
Oh
was a
yeah.
nature thing, like how you brought it back around to like, honestly, at the end of the day, simplistically, it is our connection to the divine, the earth, the nature, the source, the one, whatever the thing is. But the thing that like connects us to that reminds us that we're all connected to each other and to the grass and to the sky and all the particles and atoms, right? Like all of that. There's many ways to get that understanding, right? Some people are born with it, right? Like, I don't know. I remember being a little kid and just knowing everything was connected. Nobody had to tell me. I just fucking knew. I don't know if that's some projector shit because my little one is kind of like that, but I don't know, like, but and then as I got older there were systems that allowed me to kind of see that. Like I was a little pagan little witch girl, like when I was in my teens I was like, teach me all the witchcraft stuff. This
Yeah.
seems super interesting. I was raised Catholic. This seemed very appealing to my you know hanging gate 35 teenager self. I was like, bring it, let's learn the things that aren't taught, right?
Hmm.
But there's this through line of connection through any of these systems that I think is what you're speaking to. And I love that that's kind of where you teach from, or like, yeah, bring yourself like stuff from. And you're a 5-1, right? Am I remembering that right? I don't
Five
know.
one, yeah,
Yeah,
5-1 self-projected projector.
five
So
one self.
I learn a lot from hearing what I say. Sometimes, like I don't know what's coming through, and even when I write it down, it's still not quite there. But speaking it out, like, which is why I love podcasting and
Oh,
speaking, just talking to people, because it's like, yeah, I always have this reflection of like, well, as soon as it comes through my throat, out of my mouth, it's like that heart to throat thing where it's just like, bing, oh, that's exactly right. But I don't know it when it's in here. It's like circling around or like just
yeah.
swirling around my body, and I'm like, what's going on? And then suddenly I say it and I'm like, oh yeah, there it is. So
Uh,
yeah. And then the one, I mean, I'm a researcher, deep researcher. I've always have been, just super nerdy. Love the bookstore, the occult bookstore that I went to as my witchy 13-year-old self. Started my collection there, and then it's definitely expanded. But I just love learning how things interconnect and do the
yeah.
synthesis between things, and how you can just like put things together from different sides, the polarities, and really just get this whole new wisdom coming through from that. So,
Yeah.
and then
What's
yeah,
your
the
cross?
five. My cross is I am a left angle cross of Dominion too.
Dominion.
Yeah, which is
That's fun.
like
What
taken
would
me
you
a
go?
while to like sit with that one. I'm like, ooh,
What
because
does it mean?
what Ross says about it is it's kind of intense. I mean, and there's certain things that, he can come across as quite intense with, and that's like the point, right? It's like
Yeah.
this kind of, let me
Yeah.
just jab you, and that's it, and I get it. But I think when I listened to that one earlier on, I was like, whoa, okay, that's just, it's like dominion. That word, I don't feel good when I hear the word dominion, I guess, but I'm learning to love it. I'm yeah, I have the 731 and the 63-4. So it's kind of this like curiosity and doubt meeting up with like formalization of things. So like having control over the things that I'm curious about, which really shines through. And then the 731 is like the alpha leadership channel, but kind of like leading from behind, leading from within. So, but it is about dominion. It's about kind of like being
Yeah.
in control, being a
Yeah.
leader, being an alpha. And every human design reading that I've ever gotten has been like, oh, leadership. And, I've been like, well, what do you mean? What exactly is that? And so that's been really fun to just like have that as like a keynote for my life and be like, well, how does this come through and what does that mean for me? Because I've been in leadership positions before, but I really do like sinking into the idea that it's about like leading from within, like very much about listening and staying curious.
I froze or you froze? Somebody froze. Come back to me. Oh, you're coming back. I can hear you.
Oh,
Hold on. Stay with us. I feel like it's gonna come back. Come back. Okay, we had a little technical Mercury retrograde drop in there, but we're gonna keep it moving. Just keep things rolling right along. Um, Left angle cross of Dominion, we were talking about. I have a friend with that cross who I think is also 5-1.
mhm.
I really love learning from 5-1s. It's like my favorite profile to learn from. 5-1s and 5-2s are probably my favorite profiles to learn from. Honestly, I'm gonna say 1-4s too, because I just took a class with a 1-4. But and listen, I love to learn from everyone, but there's something about the delivery of I think it's like having the one line in the back, like the opposite of me, how you're it's like your body. Because
Mhm.
I get this, I don't have that many 4-1 friends, but I do have one good 4-1 friend, and she's the same way. The wealth of information in there is insanity. Like it's insane what you all have in there because as like and as a one line in the front person, like I kind of know like that I know a lot about some things. I'm cognizant of that, and there's some things I feel like I know nothing about, right? But there are some things that I realize that I know obscene amounts of information about certain
Yeah,
things,
I can
like
see that in you. Yeah. Yep.
information that will maybe never matter for any other reason, really, and it lives here forever
Yeah,
now,
the
right? I
song lyrics to all the rock and roll bingo songs.
all of them, all the
Yeah,
lyrics
I
live
I
here
got them all in there too. It was
rent
amazing
free,
the
just
lyrics.
taking up space in there for
Yeah,
what? For what?
right.
And like just I'm like really psycho. Like if I get into a show, then it's like forget it. Now I'm deep diving on all the characters. I'm like watching the documentaries and the thing. I'm like, I have info in here on like characters that aren't even real. Like it's bananas what
Yeah.
goes down right in our heads. As projectors, we're psychos like this, anyways. The collection of information, the collecting of information is like psycho amounts as projectors. I just feel like we're just doing it all the
100%.
fucking time. We're just
Yeah, yeah,
like,
definitely.
yeah. So, and then
Hmm.
having head definition in any way. I mean, I don't have the head, but I have the defined ajna, and it's just like processing. It's kind of like the wheels always just like spinning in there. Boop, 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 boop.
Uh-huh.
Right. But
Oh yeah, it can be a bit much for sure. I learned like I started doing this like meditation where I would like release whatever's going on in the head zone just out and like let it kind of come down around my body and then like come back up through. And when I started doing that, I was like, oh, this is good because oftentimes like I'll think things and it'll just like come right back down and be like, oh, but then there's more and then there's more and it's like so like letting it go out and then like actually take the time to like it has to come back through like my lower body centers. I'm like, okay,
oh,
and then I'll think about it again. I don't know. I've like it's been a
oh,
practice, which
Allison,
is
that's good.
yeah,
That
it's kind
feels
of
good
it's like a
to me.
fountain. You're like the fountain of wisdom, but like you got to otherwise you just like you get headaches,
Yeah.
being a one line.
That's really good advice. It immediately felt better when I pictured doing it too. And like again, like since I have to find Ajna but a completely open head, it can get like I feel like that's like the it's a teetery line there, right? This
Hmm.
combination. Because if I just start letting anything in there, like I know what that life is. That's what my life was pre-design. I was like
Mm,
a chaotic, really high strung, frantic, neurotic mess all the
mm,
time up here because of the commotion that I was just allowing and then the processing that lived here like permanently. So, knowing that I can pick and choose now has been like groundbreaking news for me and like my psyche to relax. But this
that's
whole like,
amazing.
yeah,
Mhm,
picturing
mm.
this
The
with me,
visualization, yeah.
yeah, and then
I'm the
to
same
come
way with
up.
I'm a fully open emotional center, and so I know what you mean
Um,
about the amplification of just like when you don't know that you can say, yeah, that you can pick and
yeah,
choose. And it's just like, yeah, bring it all in and then I'm just gonna like keep it and churn it and yeah. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I love human design for these reasons. For these reasons that these kinds of like, here's your pass, here's your permission slip to now be the way that's always felt normal, but that you made yourself feel like bad, wrong, or shameful for being, right?
Yeah.
For a lot of us, that's the story. Especially as projectors, I feel like that's like one thing I could talk forever on.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because we've been playing the like try to be a generator game for a long time or a manifester. We just be
Hmm.
trying though. We trying hard. We're really good at faking it too, is the thing.
That's
So
true. Yeah.
it's like such a dangerous place to live from, but we're not
I
living from
know.
there
I think
anymore.
I loved human design when I first heard about it because it like I think I learned that it was like going to let me take more naps. I was like, "Oh. I get permission to sleep more because that's like what I'm supposed to. I just need and I need to be my own energy body and like sleep alone. All of those things like on a body level like hit me pretty hard early on. And then I just like didn't go too much further with it. I was like, I don't want to know the number. I don't want to know my game. I'm just like that's good for me.
That's
But
good
I do know
enough.
other people like generators who are like, oh, like I'm a, the generators are the most normal, common, and they get kind of like people who don't know much about human design but hear they're a generator and I'm always like, oh, you have no idea how badly I want to be a generator just to have like
Right?
that like energy, just like constant energy, because I do find that to be true. Like my daughter's
Yeah.
a generator and just the amount of energy in that
Oh
one,
yeah.
I'm just like, holy.
Oh
So
my gosh.
it's always greener, right? The grass is always greener,
Always,
but
always.
once we learn to really like be like, no, I love this part about me as long as I can like treat it with care and be who I am.
Do you like tell your daughter like you have to take naps? Like mommy's got to go nap right now.
I
Like
try,
you try.
man. Yeah, I try.
You got to
I try.
try.
And then she's like jumping on me and I'm like,
You're like,
okay.
no, see, baby, it's a yeah. See, I'm kind of lucky. So I have a projector daughter, and so there's been this like double healing thing that's happened for me
Mm,
because in parenting her like a projector wants to be parented, I think, or at least how I would have wanted to be, how this
yeah.
projector would have wanted to be parented. There's been things I let her do, right? Like that I don't know, wouldn't have crossed my mother's mind to let me do. Like as
Hmm.
if it was normal to like, to need one more day to like
Mm.
after you're cold or whatever before you go back to school. Just like we're needing to nap after school. Like I had to remember being so tired when I would come home from school as a little one. Don't you? Like
Oh yeah. Oh my God. I was always tired.
white,
Just all the,
white,
I was
right?
like, how does school start at 7:45 in the morning? What is
I'm
this?
still that girl. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna start homeschooling my daughter next year, so that's
Oh
where we're at.
wow.
But yeah, but truly, I remember being a little one and just being like, I just couldn't. I remember being like, and having to do like extracurriculars after school was like, we have to do more now. Like we just did a whole day. Now you want me to do whatever practice? Like that was a lot for me, and I did it to some degree. I mean, I didn't have a mom that was like, go and play every sport, but I was definitely encouraged to do things that other kids were doing. Whereas like in my daughter's case, like it's not that like she can't do an extracurricular thing, but I'm definitely not like, hey, like I should sign you up for this, right? Like it's,
Yeah.
just you can
Right.
come home and chill. You could do nothing on the weekends. In fact, we
Yeah.
don't have to actually do anything. We can
Yeah.
literally like lay in bed. She'll like go in her room. She's a 2-5 also, so she needs
Mm.
like a lot of alone time. She'll like go in her room, and I literally won't see her till like dinner time. And like, I'll just be in my room, in my bed. She's in her bed, doing her thing, I'm doing my
Oh,
thing.
that works out. That's so nice.
Oh
Yeah.
my
No.
God. Yeah. Not trying to make you
Yeah.
jealous. anything, but
I appreciate having a generator child because I actually was raised by two projectors, and
oh my
but they
gosh.
were not like they didn't know obviously about it, and a lot of conditioning and trying to zoom, and
Yeah,
I'm like, if we could have all just chilled, like now that when we get together, me and my parents, I'm like, oh, when we are, my mom's
chilling.
doing her
It's
thing in the kitchen. She's a kitchen's environment. My dad's like doing marketplace stuff on the computer. He's markets environment. I'm a mountains environment. I like go on the roof literally, and I see this happening, this dynamic, and I'm like, our environments are like we're all in them and we're doing our thing, and that's okay. It's not this like
that's
fervor
amazing.
of communal energy, and I'm like that sometimes I'm like, oh, families are supposed to be like, do you remember the show Roseanne from the
Yeah,
like
yeah,
where it's just like this like, yeah, and everybody's in the kitchen and there's food
yeah,
and it's just like the thing, and I was like, that seems fun, like that's what family should be like.
yeah,
And
yeah,
but family dynamics, are so different, so interesting to witness through
totally.
when you start putting all the pieces together of people's design and be like, okay. Yeah, and so having the one
Yeah.
generator grandkid, or like my daughter in the family, is like she just like runs circles around everybody, but we kind of take turns. It's like there's a village that can raise her, and that's
That's awesome.
it
It's
takes a village.
awesome. And it's
Yeah,
really cool because, you as a mom get to guide her. Like that's just your natural role anyway, as a
right.
mother.
Yeah, she
So
bridges
that'd
my
be great.
split too, so it's fun. It's like really nice to like in two different ways, and so I'm like, oh my God, this is like meant to be.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's so
yeah,
sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, see, that's what what's her is she single deaf?
Yes.
And you're a
Hmm.
split deaf.
I'm split.
So my
Yeah.
daughter's a single deaf and I'm a split deaf
Mm.
also. And I don't think she bridges my split in any way, but what my daughter's an ego projector too. And so projector to projector though, there's not like it's hard for me to guide her sometimes.
Hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like
Oh
there's
yeah.
like we don't want to be like guided, like we got it, right? Like we know
Yeah.
that as projectors, we're like,
Yeah.
don't tell me how to do that. I clearly know how to do that. I've seen how to do that like 18 different ways already in my head.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like so
The
like
patterns have been recognized. Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
she checks me all the time. It's
Hmm.
wild. Like she'll call me on shit and she'll be like, "Yeah, but you did it." And I'm like, "Oh my God." It's like crazy. This is like what my mom would like dealt with, but like, and my mom was a generator. So it's just interesting how those dynamics, like what we sign up for in our soul contracts, if you believe that
Totally.
sort of thing, which I do.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
I also love that you brought up your self projectorness and how you sometimes hear yourself talking because this like resonates so hard for me. And I always say, I think as projectors, there's like a level of like, how we have like the most authority types within our aura type.
Hmm.
I think there's a level of learning available for us all within other people's authorities. So like for
Hmm.
me, having self projector friends in my life that leave me really long voice notes because I'm always like, I'll be your sounding board because I kind of like listening to long voice notes. I also like leaving them. So for me, that's fun. So I'm
Note to
like, leave me
self, good
your,
to
yeah, yeah, Allison, anytime. I got you. I'm the texter. Text me when you just need to talk something out. I won't respond. If you want me to, I will. Doesn't matter to me. I enjoy hearing it anyways. Because I'm a creepy, weird projector and we like knowing about other people's shit. I don't know what to tell you.
I love
Um,
it.
it helps us self-actualize. That's it. Like literally hearing other people talk to me about their life helps me self-actualize my life. And what I was
Hmm.
doing before was trying to do that by myself, and that didn't work. It fucked me up. So I'm way more about this system and this way, and like so yeah, the self projectors have taught me that like I can do that too. There are times where I don't know because I'm a split deaf, even though I'm splenic. There are moments where I do know, right? I just know this is going to happen and I can feel it and whatever. But there are moments where, and then I'm ajna and throat up here with my 1156, but that's not
Hmm.
connected to my ego, G, and spleen down here. And so my G doesn't talk to my throat like a self-projected projectors does. That's literally
Hmm.
the so I don't have
Hmm.
that, right? In my design. But what gives me that is one of my splits, right? One of my the 13 does that for me there. But for me, I can get to my truth sometimes by talking. That's
Yeah.
just it. And I'm a 1-4, so maybe there's some like externalizing things there, but 100% sometimes I'll listen to my voice notes back and I'm like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
I didn't realize that I sounded that passionately about that thing till I heard
Yeah.
myself." This
Yeah.
is another reason I love having the podcast, just like you
Right.
said.
Right.
I've heard myself say things back. And so I've learned that there's like something in that for all of us. So
Yeah.
yeah, I admire the self-projected projector. I also know that this interview is going to go over time now, obviously. It's a
Yeah.
self-projected
Because
projector
once I
and
get the
mind
mic
lab
and then
now.
once you, yeah, no, totally.
It's like forget it now. It's funny, you weren't on the Zoom call, the magic, but it's my conference. I can do what I want, Allison. So we're gonna roll with it. Um, um, on the magic Zoom call, we gave away a free ticket. The call that you weren't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
able
I
to
tried to
join
make
us.
it. Yeah.
We allowed the speakers to do 2 minutes on
Mhm.
what they're doing, right? But we were
Mhm.
trying to be very about the time. Not me, of course, because I don't know what I'm doing, but we were all as a group trying to, and it was hard. But some people are better about that stuff or not. But then we have one, Alex Negretti is doing hypnosis stuff at our
Mhm.
event. He's really awesome. He was in Santa Fe. I don't know if you experienced him.
I no, but I did meet him. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool dude.
Mhm.
Self-projected projector.
Saw it.
Um, and he gets on the screen to talk about his thing, and he hits the mark. We're like, and Julie's trying to tell him, and now I'm like trying to tell him, we're like trying to tell him, and he's still going. And like I could like, like we're also he's saying really interesting stuff. So like I'm fine. We're like all listening. And then it got to a point where we like kind of had to cut him off. But I was like, he gets a pass. He's a self-projected projector. There was no way he was gonna do it in 2 minutes. That's not
Yeah.
fair. That's
I
not fair.
love that. It's only like 2% of the world is self-projected.
Right.
And so like once
Right.
you gotta listen once we
Very small
come
number.
online.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. That's what
Uh,
I say about the ego projectors too. Like
yeah, so
they
rare.
get a pass to be because like, all the stuff you read about them is I remember learning this at first, like with my kid, it was like, they have to kind of do stuff for themselves and it's about what's good for them. What do they want? And all of those things go kind of against the thing you're taught to teach children. That's like, don't be selfish, or whatever. So I remember at first feeling this like kind of like sense of like not conflicted, but a little bit like, is that right? And then learning how many ego projectors there actually are and being like, oh, that's why. There's like this many of them. It's
Teeny.
the
Yeah.
smallest, teeniest number
Yeah.
ever. Like
Hmm.
we can that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
you make like
I
a custom plan for them because yeah, it's like,
yeah,
yeah.
clearly a custom
Yeah.
plan. Exactly.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love it. Well, now that we've gotten off course like 18 million times, I do want you to talk a little bit about what you are doing at our event because I think it's really fascinating. I'm super interested. Being a vessel of love incarnation cross. This what you're presenting was really exciting for me. And being a teenage witch, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
What you're presenting feels very appealing to me. So can you tell the people a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, actually, could I ask you
Yeah.
how it came through to you? Like, what do you think? Because it's something that I'm in this
Yeah.
formalization process, and
Yeah.
it's very much like I'm so deeply passionate about this work, but the way that I'm framing it, this is kind of new for me, and so I'm very excited to talk about it and kind of workshop it, about the G Center, about the Wheel of the Year. But I'm curious, like,
Yeah.
yeah, what came through for you?
Okay, so yeah, so we have a little intake form where Allison filled out her information for the speakers that are participating in this conference. And when I read it, um, what I got from it, because I think we've chatted a little bit about it, but then I got like that whole like because you wrote pretty detailed about it. What I gathered is it's going to be like a G Center, go through the gates of the G Center type of thing while we're kind of looking at the seasons perhaps and how that intersects. And um and there was another piece that I don't really remember, right? It's kind of eluding me right now. There's something else I remember thinking about when I read it, like there's something somatic maybe about it or something about it feeling something
Hmm.
during the I don't remember. And then I remember seeing the word pagan wheel too, right? Am I making that up? No, right?
No, that's right.
And so I'm interested. I learned early on about my cross being one of the only incarnation crosses that lives all in one center, the
Hmm.
vessel of love and the
The
and
Sphinx.
the sphinx, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, the only two that encompass all in one area of the graph. So I just thought that was cool. My ego defined self was like, I'm so cool. Like my cross is all in one um area, my G center. And And then I learned that there's this book called I think I have it. Do I have it? Yeah.
Hmm.
This one. Have you browsed through this book? The Love Book.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So this book, I'm not like my 4426 can't fucking help itself, you guys. I swear to God, I did this in the other interview too. It was like I was doing an ad all of a sudden for something. I'm like, am I doing an ad right now? Did nobody pay me to do this? I'm not doing an ad for these people, but this book is really a good resource. And in this book, I learned about how the gates are my gates, the love gates, vessel of love gates are associated with the equinoxes and
And the
the
solstices. Yeah.
solstices. And so I was like, oh my God, I am part witch. I knew it.
Yep, it's right there. It's written. It has been written.
So yeah, I just liked it. It's cool. Like I always knew that my birthday was my birthday September 22nd. It always fell on the autumn equinox, and I always knew that, obviously. But then I was like, interesting to know these markers kind of throughout the year, and like maybe look at it and see what happens for me in my life, how that affects me, since this is such a dominant part of my design.
Yeah.
And I do know, just as a person with a defined G, I'm sure you can relate, like living from a place of untruth as a defined G really kind of hurts your body.
Your
It
heart.
hurts.
Yeah.
It like hurts.
Uh-huh.
I don't know how else
Hmm.
to say it, but that it either hurts on an emotional level, it hurts on a physical level, it hurts on a mental level. Somewhere it's killing you. And it was for me. And now it makes so much sense. It's like Jesus, my whole incarnation cross is there. And I was like denying it. Of
Hmm.
course. I was
Hmm.
like acting from a place of crazy. Like, of course my life didn't make sense, you
Right.
know?
Right.
So I don't know. That was a long answer, but that's what I got from
Thank
your
you
thing.
for no, thank you for I just love hearing the reflection back as you're like workshopping and crafting, it's like what is the but yeah,
Yeah,
that's yeah,
so
you hit on
helpful.
all the parts. I mean, for me, it was kind of like last fall I just started to have a lot I kind of got obsessed with the heart and the pericardium and the G and the like basically the centers in the body graph that are the
Okay.
heart. The G is the G, but yeah, and then the will center is the heart, but they're both it's kind of like the heart was split, right? So it is like the G is this place. It feels very like heart
Yeah.
opening. You're speaking from the heart. So I started just like researching the heart in last fall, and then this January, I was sick a lot and kind of in bed, and I just like started to just like have these downloads in this weird kind of like fever dream kind of state about heart centeredness. And so I'm working on a book right now about it's called The Heart is a Compass, and it's
Mm.
about kind of the history of how different cultures have seen the heart throughout history in Egypt and Mesopotamia and the Christian world, all across space time, and how it used to be seen as a center of intelligence. It was like you think about the G center and it's the center of direction and identity, and I think a lot of times like in ancient cultures like the heart was seen more as that, and then like later on scientific revolution it was like, oh, it's just a pump. It's a pump. It pumps your blood. Nothing more, nothing less. The mind is like where it's at, right? But I think that shift from the heart to the mind is actually kind of what human design is trying to undo a little bit. It's like we shouldn't make decisions from our mind. Nobody has mind authority. Like you might be a
Right.
mental projector, but nobody's supposed to like actually attune to the mind, because the mind is going
Mm.
to send you on this wild goose chase, right? Or maybe it's good at answering like questions like 2 + 2 = 4 or whatever, but it's not actually for like that sense of direction and like what should I do? Who am I? What is calling me? That is a lot more in different body centers. And so for
Right.
me, it's like that. I think that in 2019, when I learned about the body graph, I was just like, oh my God, it led me down a journey into breath work and somatics. And so I do practice embodiment as part of human design as well. Because I think that again, it feels like the whole point. Like it's not about just like adding more information into your head. And so this year it's been about like, let me just like center on the heart, because I've been doing this spirals, living the spiral is what it's called now. My podcast used to be called Cycles of Time, and it's about tracing the wheel of the year. I went through literally on a weekly basis. I would do a recording about kind of the forecast, and what gates, like what gates the sun was transiting through, and what signs the sun was transiting through, and really just like lived the wheel of the year for 2 years to see how each of these gates shows up on an annual basis. And what I found when I found out that like the G center was connected to the equinoxes and the solstices, so we have winter equinox and summer or winter solstice and summer solstice and fall and spring equinox are the cross of the vessel of love, and then the cross of the Sphinx in the G center are the cross quarter days that are like the halfway points between the solstices and the equinoxes. So
Mhm.
it's like every 6 weeks throughout the year, you have one of these holidays that's celebrated in, it's called the pagan wheel of the year, but it draws from Celtic tradition and ancient European tradition where these major points, astronomical points, would be celebrated, right? There's like major fire festivals for, Halloween is one of them. It was known as Samhain in the pagan wheel of the year. Beltane is one of them that's now known as May Day. Yule was one of them, the winter solstice, which is now very integrated into Christmas. And so we have these in our modern culture, but some of them are more well known than others because they've been brought into the Christian tradition or more modernized perhaps. But all of these festivals have been so important, and the fact that those are all of the days that are in the heart center, in the G center, to me that just felt so beautiful. Like you look at a body graph and it's the yellow center, it's this glowing kind of like sun in the middle of the body graph, and to be able to like connect those days easily, or those gates easily, to a day in the year, for me that it just made me want to go deeper into that work and to teach people about how, whether you're defined G or undefined G, or whether you resonate with the G center in the heart or not, we all experience these really pivotal days as like markers of time throughout the year. And so to connect them with the gates, like we just celebrated Imbolc a few weeks ago, which is the cross quarter day between Yule, the winter equinox, and the spring equinox, which is coming up. And that day is gate 13, and that's the fellowship of man in the I Ching, or the gate of the listener. And so for me, like bringing what the sentiment, what the meaning is behind the gate into that particular time of year really has done a lot over the past couple of years as I've walked the wheel of the year and been like, oh, okay, if I can look at that particular week or that particular holiday and be like, okay, this is a time to start listening more. This is a time to tap into that gate 13 energy. It just felt like it added so much dimension to the celebration of the wheel of the year as I was already receiving it through these other traditions. So I'm excited to guide people through a workshop where we really are connecting these gates of the G center to the wheel of the year, and kind of form a practice where you can tap into the human design rave mandala in a really embodied way, and kind of get a compass for the year to bring in these different energies. So
Oh, I love this so much. It has me thinking so much already. I love the sexy ass defined heads, bro. They always get me. You guys have all the goods. Wow, all that lives in there, huh?
oh,
It's
it's
so
all there.
cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and it's really not. I mean, it's like there's a lot of words, there's a lot of concepts, but it is. I've been actually painting it out, and I'm going to bring a
Oh,
copy
that's
of
right,
my
because you're an
painting
artist
probably.
too.
Yeah, I
You're
work.
an
Yeah,
artist
that's
too,
how it
yeah.
comes through initially, usually. And so all of this, the reason like they kind of like synthesized so well is because I was like, I can see that. So I started doing a painting of kind of like how the wheel of the year and like what's happening with the earth is similar to what's happening as in the heart center with these gates. And so the G or the heart. And so, yeah, I'm excited about kind of making it interactive and
I
workshopping it
love
a bit,
it.
and like having people share about like what, if they have gates active or defined, and if their center is defined or not, and kind of like looking at what time of the year the defined gates that they
Yeah.
have are lighting up, and then really just like thinking about it in that seasonal way so we can like root into it. So it's not just another number flying at you and that you
Yeah.
read in your book about, but it's more like, oh, I can like visualize like, oh, gate 15 is the summer solstice, and it's the gate of extremes, and like, oh, that makes sense because it's solstice is like longest day,
Right.
shortest night, so it is extreme just in that. And then like
Yeah.
the extremity of just like everything's in bloom at that point, everything's alive, and like how do we meet that energy of gate 15 during that season, or like at least align it with that season so that we can have kind
Yeah.
of a device to tap into it. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I
where I'm
love
coming
that.
from.
I love that. What the one that you mentioned, what was it that just passed that you said it was Gate of the Listener? It was like Gate
It
13.
was, yeah, it's called Imbolc, which
Imbolc. And
is,
when was that?
it's a Celtic holiday that it means in the belly. And so it basically means it was a time when, like, back in Ireland, they use, like, the female sheep were pregnant and starting to lactate. And so
Uh,
it's a holiday that is in Aquarius season, for
and
those of
what
you who are
date did
into
that fall on?
astrology. February 2nd.
So that's the one that you said just passed.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and so yeah, and then we're coming up on gate 25, and which is the spring equinox, and when the sun comes into gate 25, and it's a gate of innocence, the gate
Uh-huh.
of universal love, in the gene keys, that's the city. And so there's like thinking about, as we reach spring, it's like moving from that like listening to like a place of like it kind of like you think of a sprout coming out of the earth on the spring equinox, or like a baby lamb being born, and they're born into that gate 25 energy. And so it's really just like, for me as a visual person, it's connecting the like what's happening in nature during that time with the energy of the gate. That's felt really profound to me. It's felt really grounding, where
Yeah.
these are not just like random numbers. They're like very much connected to our relationship with the earth.
Yeah,
And
no, really
yeah.
beautiful stuff because it's yeah, it has me thinking like, like for me, for example, 13 bridges my split. So like when the sun is transiting through 13 during that time of year, is that a time of year for me to be like, aware of what,
Exactly.
right? Like listen in right now, like this is the energy that does connect me, right? It kind of gives me a motor throat connection at that point. Like it actually changes my like design almost for a little
Right.
bit, like why not
Yeah.
kind of be cognizant of the energy of it. So this feels so good. I also really just love the tie-in back to nature, back to animals, back to all this stuff. Like just for me, I'm not by any means a nature girl. Like if you looked at my life, I'm like a city girl through and through. I grew up in New York, in Queens, and in Miami. Like buildings
Yeah.
are my landscape. Like I'm not like I'm gonna go take a hike. I'm not that nature girl. But I will tell you what, there is one thing I've always known, and it's that nature is the best teacher for us all. It doesn't, I don't even need to be a forest girl to tell you that. Um, it just makes sense. When we look at animals, when we look at plants, when we look at the way the process of all of those things happen, and then
Hmm.
we look at ourselves, there is a parallel.
Oh yeah.
And for us to learn to move more in tune with that, I'm pretty sure is the answer to so many of our woes on this planet, if we were to move more in flow with that natural wheel. And this wheel of the year that you're painting is like kind of sounds to me like, and this is very vessel of love, very gate 15, but like this feels to me like a thing everybody can get on board about because it doesn't feel like divide, like it's we're all living in the year, right?
Yeah.
With the seasons. Like there's no, don't have to believe in anything but except what,
Exactly.
like
Yeah.
there's no,
Yeah,
like
there's
so
my universalizing for
there
you.
you go.
There's the
I
five
well,
line. I'm like,
thank
it's all for
you.
everybody. Like, this isn't even complicated. This is just
Yeah.
is what it is, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, and I would say, even as a city person, like, I lived in San Francisco and Oakland and New Orleans for over half my life. I was in cities as
Oh,
well.
okay.
And so I'm definitely grew up, in New Mexico. I was in nature more, but then I went to cities, and I do think that you can even pick up like all these little, just the
For
seasonal stuff,
sure.
the shifts you feel in cities. There's just more ability to distract yourself, or to like not notice it, because there's a lot more stuff going on, where you're like, it's not just in your face,
Yeah.
you're not trying to farm, you're not agricultural or whatever,
Right.
but it is still happening, right? It's like it's
100.
still there. But I do feel
100.
like it was when I moved back from to New Mexico from city life of like 18 years of like of pretty urban living, that I started to really get into this stuff. And it came through like, oh, this kind of like cellular memory of like, oh, when I was a kid, I
Yeah.
did know this stuff, and it did feel like I felt like I belonged
Yeah.
somehow. And so for me, that's what it is. It's like, human design is the science of differentiation. It's about like finding exactly who we are, like what unique snowflake we are. And that's fun and amazing. And I think that we all should, like, but at the same time, like, such an emphasis on differentiation. Sometimes it's like we forget that we all have all the gates, even if they're not defined. At
Right.
some point during the year, a
100.
planet or the sun or the moon will be in those gates and it will light it up for everybody. Like right
Yep.
now, currently, we have like all of the solar plexus gates lit up because we're in
Yep.
all these planets are in Pisces, which is where all these solar plexus
Yep.
gates are. And you look at that, and I'm like, as an undefined solar plexus, I look at the current transit chart, and I'm like, oh, that's what's going on. Like I
Yeah.
feel it, and so it's just a way to like connect your unique design with the larger cycles
Yeah.
that are creating this, and so that's where I get off. I think it's really fun to
Yeah.
connect with the cosmos that way. So,
Totally. I'm
yeah,
glad you said that too. Yeah, that's something we say all the time on my podcast too, is like we all have the whole chart, guys. Like we're so that's another thing we get very as human design professionals, we kind of get into lost in this place of like, I'm a defined spleen or I'm a defined whatever, like, and it's like, dude, but we all are also everything. Like
mm-hmm.
also.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there is a consistency to how we are designed, and that's great to celebrate, like you said, but I do think there's such a potency to remember that we're all so connected again, like kind of how we started talking about, to the one, to the source, to the divine, to the earth, that we have to remember that too, right? It
Yeah.
has to be like both. Um so all right, I feel like we've chatted long enough. I don't want to keep the people on here too long, but if they get a gist of your, anybody that watch it, that follows us through to the end will get an idea of what you're talking about in case they're still on the fence about coming to this event. But this event's going to be great and you should definitely come. We have really cool speakers lined up and I'm really happy that you're one of them, Allison. I love what you're bringing to the table. I also, yeah, like the G center is such an important aspect for us to understand the energy of it, as far as the, not that like the whole chart isn't important, but for me, I do think there are some centers that kind of stand out. And the G center is where our magnetic monopole lives, right? No
Right.
matter whether we're defined or not. Again,
Right.
everybody's got a monopole, which is again a one-way magnet, guys, and it's here like for us to just be able to move through life the way that we're here to move through life. And if we
Yeah.
understand the environment, right? The nature,
Yeah.
the wheel better around us, maybe that's even easier, like part of my whole deal with human design is it brought ease into my life. It brought ease into my personal life. It brought ease into my parenting. And I am here for that. I'm here for less resistance and more ease. And that's what I think a lot of these offerings that you're bringing to the table sound like they're bringing. So I'm here for
Mm,
that. And I'm
absolutely.
grateful.
I'm so excited about it. Yeah,
Me
I really
too.
look forward to meeting everybody and connecting and yeah, this is kind of it's kind of just like for me it's like the G is just one example. You could do this with any of the
Sure.
centers where it's like where do all of the centers or the gates of the spleen show up in that wheel too and be like, "Oh, I'm going
Yeah.
to mark that." The G just makes it easy because it's solstices, equinoxes, it's like times that other people are already paying attention to. You're like, "Oh,
Right.
January or December 21st, like solstice, I kind of know that because it's near Christmas or whatever. You know what I mean? There's like some cultural knowledge. And
Right.
so it just makes it like, oh, that can be a way, like my way into the mandala and to the wheel to be like, oh, click. Okay, I know that. And then after that, it can be like any center. I'd love to do this for like all the centers at some point, just like where did they
Yeah.
show up, It'd be a fun way to kind of go about it. But come
Yeah.
join, yeah, G Talk. Let's
Talk.
talk about the G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, um, I love that. I love that so much. I'm excited. You guys should definitely join the G Talk, and I am excited about it. I'm gonna ask you some fun questions, and then we can wrap up. How does that
Oh, great.
feel?
Yeah.
Okay. These are just like fun, silly questions. What is your favorite color and why?
Ooh. My favorite color is like turquoise, teal.
Pretty.
And because I have like no water in my astrology chart. I'm like all fire and earth and a little air, but mostly fire and earth. And so like water, I'm just like give me water, bring me the water. And I live in the desert, so it's even more so.
Yeah.
I'm just like I can look at that color and just be calm.
I
So
love it.
yeah.
I love turquoise too. That's one of my blues, my favorite too, but I love turquoise also. I love Santa Fe also. I mean, where you live is the desert, but that's a cool fucking place. It's a cool desert.
It's a good play. Yeah, it's a good desert. Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite animal and why?
Ooh. Like my favorite animal to cuddle is a dog because I have a couple dogs, love them.
Okay.
Most love most. I'm a dog person. I travel. I just like try to meet the dog. Go to a party. I'm like talking to the dog first before the people. So yeah, I'm a dog person. But I'd say dolphins have always called me in a different way. But I
Uh,
like don't want to like hang out with them. Or I have swam with dolphins, and I'm like, no, you do you. You like have the domain of the ocean. I just think they're like incredible,
they're pretty.
incredible
They're pretty to
creatures.
look at.
Yeah, and they're smart, and they're just really
Yeah.
cool, interesting. But like. Yeah, I don't
You
want to
might
like
see
ride one.
dolphins. You might see dolphins when you're here in Miami.
Oh, the
Sometimes we
Miami
see them.
Dolphins, of course.
Well, no, for real though, because like in the water, like in the bay here, like behind my
Amazing.
house, sometimes
Yes.
I'll see them.
Oh,
I've
that's
caught them
awesome.
sometimes. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait.
Okay, what is one thing you want to do in this life before this human body expires?
Whew. Just a fun little question.
Just some fun, silly
No big
questions
deal.
from one projector to another. I wrote these. Can you tell?
Oh man.
Just one silly fun thing.
One silly fun thing, like a bucket list thing.
Yeah, like jump out of an airplane, crazy things like.
Yeah. I'd love to do more ceremony, and I'm starting to. I'd love to host more rituals.
Oh,
I've done
good.
some, but I feel like I'm just like I want to do more and more of that, and yeah,
I like
so it
I
feels
like that
right.
answer.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your favorite thing about yourself?
Ooh, gosh, these are my
I know
I
I'm coming
my
for you
favorite
like
thing about myself is um the way that I can synthesize information and like teach people, like the way that I
yeah.
learn and teach. I love that. I think that's pretty cool and unique.
All right. Well, you did it. You
Yay.
passed the interview. We're done. We're done here. I have no more questions. Unless there's anything else you want to add to this conversation, I think we could probably wrap it up so that people can hear a little bit about you and not too much. Don't want to give
Yeah,
it all
no,
away.
that's exactly. Got to keep the mystery.
Gotta keep that
Uh,
5 line mystery up.
right. Like going back to my balcony now. See y'all later. Throw you some Mardi Gras beads off the.
I love it. All
Yeah,
right.
yeah. No, thank you so much for
Awesome.
having this. It's been so fun. I
Yeah.
just realized you're 1156. I just realized that you bridge my split too. So
Oh,
I have
yay.
like lots of 11, but the 56. That like
Yeah.
storyteller, I love it. So yeah, no wonder it's been so easy and fun.
So yeah, we could chat
Yeah.
all day. That's clearly, yeah, we should be on each other's podcasts. That's what I
Oh,
feel like. Because then we have
absolutely.
our own platforms and we could just keep each other for as long as we want.
Right. Yeah, no, let's respect the container, the yeah, Human Design
All right,
Miami
cool.
experience. Yes, I'm
Thank you,
so
Allison,
excited.
so much. I can't wait to see you in person in a month. We're getting so close. And
Yeah.
if anybody's interested, you can still get tickets, ahumandesignexperience.com. Go get your tickets and check out some of the other videos. We're posting these for as many speakers as we can. We're probably gonna do for some for the venues that we are hosting some of these awesome events at, and some of the people that have gotten us those venues. We've just had the best encounters in creating this, and we want to really show that. So thanks for
Hmm.
being part of it.
Thanks for all the work you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. See you
Bye.
soon. Bye.